Hey y'all, what's up? It would normally be the part where I do this old professional intro where I'm like, hey, what's up everybody, this is your chief of the Blue Blurs, Gamer Blake 90, presenting you with whatever. But this kind of video doesn't really warrant such an opening, because I'm about to do something that I never imagined I would ever do, and that is making a video where I am basically sticking my neck out. So I want to get it out of the way real quick. In making this video, I'm not trying to attack YouTube, I'm not trying to make anybody working at YouTube feel bad, nothing like that. Rather, I'm making this video to bring everybody's attention, especially those that consume Sonic content on the regular, to a very important issue. An issue that, if not addressed, could, and this may be putting it a little melodramatically, but it's a very legitimate concern. This could mean the end of Sonic content creation on YouTube as we know it. It'll probably migrate to other platforms, but as anybody knows, it is very, very difficult to compete with YouTube because of how it has consistently evolved over the years. There is just no disputing that. But with that evolution comes drawbacks that have, without a doubt, been crippling to deal with, such as the one that's being highlighted in this video. So you're probably wondering, what exactly is that drawback and why is it such a concern? Well, let's get right into it. So with all the attention that this whole made for kids thing on YouTube has been getting recently, you might be wondering what exactly it's all about and why there's been such an outcry over it. It is a fairly recent addition to the YouTube ecosystem, so I have no doubt that there are people confused about all of this, so let me do my best to shed some light on things. In 2019, YouTube enacted a requirement for us creators to follow whenever we're about to post a video. We now have to decide if our video is intended for an audience with kids in mind, or an audience that doesn't have kids in mind. We can also apply a similar blanket setting to our respective channels, so as to clarify that our content is intended for kids or not intended for kids. And obviously we have to be as accurate in our ruling as possible to get YouTube to trust our input and stick with it. But even then, there's a problem with that, because though the decision is generally left up to us creators to make, YouTube themselves can override it, which is a huge part of the issue that we're faced with right now. It runs directly counter to YouTube's statement of how creators know their audience is best, and then suddenly they decide to take matters into their own hands. Now, on one hand, you could argue that because we're using this platform, we are consenting to YouTube's terms of service, and that pretty much means that whatever they say goes. Fair enough. But on the other hand, that statement falls apart when you consider the two big issues overshadowing it. First of all, and I should not need to explain this, but I guess I'm going to, you cannot go around saying that you believe creators know their audiences best and then turn right around and make their decisions for them. Like, do I need to explain what's wrong with this? Do I seriously need to? It sends a very confusing message that just goes to further complicate the situation that we're dealing with, and it suggests that creators aren't nearly in as much control of their content as they should be. And then there's the other big issue stemming from this whole debacle, and it's grown to the point where YouTube content creators, most notably Sonic creators, are seriously rethinking the amount of time they're putting into the platform. YouTube's got a sibling app called YouTube Kids, and it's exactly what the name suggests. Let's say you're a parent, for example, and you're looking for content that you think your kids would enjoy, then YouTube Kids would definitely be your best friend. Or it's supposed to be. But now we've arrived at the other big issue stemming from this whole made for kids nonsense. There are videos being incorrectly marked by either YouTube bots or by human staff as made for kids when they are not remotely anything of the sort. And so that content is being shoved into the YouTube Kids app. Now, on one hand, not all of this content is controversial at all. It's actually quite tame and something that potentially kids and adults can both enjoy. But on the other hand, there's that type of content that oversteps some boundaries and definitely should not be on the app at all. Using that kind of content gets marked as inappropriate for advertisers instead. You know, things like, well, I don't even want to mention them. They are sensitive subjects and I don't want to risk this video getting flagged for that kind of stuff, even though I know very well what I am already risking by making this kind of video, and I take no pleasure whatsoever in making this kind of video, but it has to happen. I'm sorry, it has to happen. And as for the content I mentioned a bit ago that oversteps boundaries that it should not, I'm not going to show any of it here because I'm uncomfortable by the mere thought of even looking it up. If you want to know more about it, I suggest looking up this video by chaomix, which takes a much deeper dive into the supposed made-for-kids content that isn't really kid-friendly. And unfortunately, the problems do not stop there. Oh no no no. It only gets worse. Putting aside the fact that your video is correctly or incorrectly labeled as made for kids, it is still a death sentence as far as that video's viewership is concerned. If you get unlucky enough to get that email where you're being notified that your video's audience setting has been changed to made for kids, kiss your viewership goodbye, because YouTube actively stops promoting that video, instead shoving it so deep into a backlog that the only way people would know that video existed would be to go to the creator's channel, or maybe looking into their subscription feed, assuming that the videos that are marked as made for kids even show up in your sub feeds. I don't know if they do or if they don't, but I find it more likely that they don't. It's the same as what would happen if a video were to be flagged as inappropriate for advertisers instead. It gets softly demonetized, and then YouTube stops promoting it. What makes this crazier is that some of that controversial content is somehow finding its way onto the YouTube Kids app, where it's getting mixed in with kid-friendly content. And if the situation weren't so serious, I'd almost consider it hilarious. I doubt this was YouTube's intention, to be fair, but right now, their system is not reflecting their intentions. And this is why whenever people go like, maybe include a swear word or two and you can avoid the made for kids label, I'm like, bro, that does not work. Sure, you might avoid the made for kids flag, but in exchange, you now risk getting tagged as inappropriate for advertisers instead, leading to a rock and a hard place situation. It's you're screwed if you do, and you're screwed if you don't. It is so painful having to acknowledge all of this. I'm basically saying that creating content in today's generation of YouTube is like constantly treading through a minefield in the hopes that your video will be able to reach anyone without getting hit with either flag. Do you see what I'm saying? And suddenly building a channel on here doesn't feel nearly as feasible as it used to. At this point, I've just gotta ask, YouTube, what do you want from us? Like seriously, what do you want? Do you want general audience content? Do you want kids content? Or do you want stronger content that avoids certain lanes that I'm not going to specify as far as controversial content goes? I think you all can figure out exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't want any of those things, then what do you want? It's like I said earlier, rock in the hard place. Screwed if you do, screwed if you don't. You make a video that's perfectly okay for everyone to digest, it literally does not matter. YouTube will just take it out of your hands and decide for themselves if it's worth a promotion or if it's not worth a promotion. And I understand this is their platform, but for one, I think this is kinda an act of overreach. It removes all prospects of creative freedom for starters, and then there's the fact that this system is being incorrectly enforced because controversial content is finding its way into YouTube Kids. This is a lose-lose situation, and frankly, it is frustrating that this is where we're at right now. Now, so far, I've been lucky. I have almost, 300 videos up on this channel, I think? And none of them have been flagged as made for kids yet. So I wonder how long that will last after this video goes up, to be honest. Fingers crossed, everybody. But yeah, I've been fortunate, and I think part of why that is the case is because this channel is a commentary channel, and I admit that there are times where I use a level of vocabulary that goes way above that of what most kids tend to learn in school these days, and I say that very respectfully. But even then, I feel bad that all of my fellow Sonic creators out there are dealing with this. I hate that there are so many people like me who love a blue hedgehog that can run at supersonic speeds to the point that they make content about him. Whether it's music, fan games, comics, animations, or whatever else that has to do with Sonic. And now, they can't make that content with peace of mind anymore, because at any given point in time, YouTube can just cut right on in and make all that work invalid by cutting off its outreach, making it that much harder for people to be able to watch it. This is not how things should be. Whether you're a Sonic creator, or a creator for any of the branded video games, or heck even movies or comics or whatever, you're faced with this risk. You could get flagged as made for kids, or you could get flagged as inappropriate, and the worst part is, they won't always be right with their judgment because their system is that flawed. We're basically playing Russian roulette just by making videos. And that sucks. That's putting it very lightly. That really sucks. A bit of a silver lining to all of this is that sometimes when your videos get flagged, YouTube will overturn those judgments when you appeal them. But the key word there is sometimes. There's always gotta be a catch to these things, doesn't there? I'm not gonna highlight literally every Sonic creator suffering from YouTube's current system because, you know, I'm trying to save on time here. But even then, I can tell this is gonna be one of those beefy videos that's about to go up. And if so, then so be it. It's necessary. There's a lot of stuff that people need to be aware of before they consciously make the decision to create content on YouTube. Whether it's about Sonic or whatever else, but especially if it's about Sonic. But as an example, let's talk about one of the most popular Sonic animation channels on YouTube, if not the most popular. And that is Balena Productions. For the record, if I'm saying the channel's name wrong, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best out here. Feel free to enlighten me on what the proper pronunciation is. But yeah, Balena Productions is a channel that specializes in Sonic animations meant to target all audiences, not just kids. Something that the channel's owner himself has made abundantly clear plenty of times. But apparently YouTube disagrees, and I don't know why? And neither does he, I'm sure. So many of Balena's videos have been flagged as made for kids, or in the case of one of the video, inappropriate for advertisers. And these claims have been piling and piling so high up to the point that it's undoubtedly been causing incredible stress for Balena. My heart goes out to him, and I sincerely hope that he's able to work his way past all of this. Because for the considerable amount of work that goes into his content, and trust me, animation is no simple matter. He doesn't deserve any of this. No animator does. There is some good news to all of this though. Balena was able to get many of his videos reverted back to their general audience settings so that they are no longer flagged. Except for one video that has remained flagged as made for kids. It's a teaser video if I remember correctly. And then not long after that, yet another video was flagged as made for kids, so it's been reverted since. Much faster than his other cases were resolved actually. So I guess they're paying more attention now. But it's still unclear to me why they would change the bulk of his content back to general audience settings, but leave one of them as made for kids even though it's ultimately no different from the rest of his content. What sort of double standard are they setting with this? And of course, there are other animators struggling to deal with this issue also. Whether their content has been around for years or whether they've been posted recently, it doesn't matter. Nothing is safe from this wildly inconsistent system that is dominating YouTube right now. Not even non-animation channels. I said on Twitter a bit ago that it was specifically animation channels dealing with this problem. But at the time, I was forgetting that I'd also known about non-animation channels that were getting their content flagged as made for kids, such as Sonic Central and Blue Vivacity. Both of these are two of the biggest Sonic channels on YouTube, and they primarily specialize in non-commentary gameplay videos. Though Sonic Central has been making the transition to commentary content, and for the record, I 100% back this move because I think it will give him some added insurance in the event that more of his content gets flagged. Still, some of his videos have gotten fixed up also, as has Blue Vivacity's, but there is still that double standard that's been happening with Balena's content. They're all virtually the same type of content, but only some of it is getting flagged, the rest not so much. I cannot understand what is going on here, but I feel like YouTube becoming a little too reliant on their bot to handle this problem. And though I get that there's like billions of videos up on YouTube these days and it becomes so much to keep up with it all, at some point they have to realize that their current system doesn't work and some changes need to be made. Oh wait, it just gets better. Animation channels, gameplay channels, even music channels are at risk of getting flagged. Like, what is going on here? Absolutely nothing is safe from this. I don't even know anymore. It's both funny and not so funny. Like, what? Somebody explain this to me. Somebody explain to me how this possibly makes sense. Like, how? And while I'm mentioning these channels, I'd like to ask you guys to go and support them because Lord knows they could use it right now. With all the work that goes into their content, they absolutely deserve your support. The same goes for any other creator that I did not mention in this video. If you happen to be among those creators, I invite you to share your stories in the comments down below so we can make more people aware of more Sonic channels dealing with this problem, and so we can support them. And yes, I did mention how being a commentary channel might be a potential safeguard from all of this, but even I'm not sure how long that will last until YouTube changes its mind and decides it's just as vulnerable to these practices as every other piece of content is. I guess we'll have to see, is all I can really say. I suppose you're also wondering what gave rise to this whole made-for-kids system that YouTube has adopted. It's their answer to a law called COPPA, or Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. This law was instated back in 1998 as a way to protect children from content online that is not suitable for them. And honestly, it's a law that I can understand. The problem, however, is that there is a clear misconception in what types of content are meant to be consumed by everyone or by specific audiences like either kids or adults. Clearly, people have not heard of what the phrase E for everyone means. It's exactly as it says, it's literally for everyone or for general audiences. That is not the same as content that is intended specifically for kids or for adults. And if you're wondering why exactly YouTube has updated their terms of service to comply with the law that's existed for over 2 decades, I don't think I want to risk explaining that either, because although I don't consider it a sensitive subject, other parties would probably beg to differ. So to cut down on the number of risks I'm taking already, I'm not going to answer this question. The most I can say is for you to just search it up on Google or whatever other browser you use and you'll get your answer quickly. This is where I may as well address a wildly popular misconception that I just know is going to be brought up in the comments for this video. I'm not going to kid myself here. Many people are under the impression that Sonic is a franchise that is intended only for kids. So knowing that, I'm likely going to have people saying to me, "Bro, Sonic is only for kids, man. Why haven't you grown up yet? Why haven't you moved on, you big baby? You're like 30 years old." Correction, first of all, I'm 31 years old. And secondly, your point is? Dude, stop it. Sonic is not only for kids. If I had a dime every time I heard that statement, I would be a millionaire. Again, general audience content is not the same thing as something that is intended only for kids, and Sonic is for everyone. And you also have to consider, he's been around for 31 years. That's a lot of time for a lot of people to become Sonic fans. So yes, there are adult generations of Sonic fans. And just like how current Sonic fans are proving instrumental in expanding a brand's outreach, so have older generations of Sonic fans, and they still are today. Sure, not all of them are with us, as some of them did move on to other things for reasons only they know best, but others like myself have stuck around for the long haul because we genuinely enjoy Sonic still. And in my case, I always will. But for whatever reason, there's this unrealistic expectation that when we transition into adulthood, we're expected to leave behind whatever interest we had as a kid and move on to content that is of a more adult nature. If you happen to be in that crowd of people that believes this for whatever reason, then I only have one thing to say to you. No! No way!
No way!
I'm not gonna conform to whatever unwritten rule society has laid out for us, because let me tell you something. I follow only my rules, not anyone else's. I will like whatever it is I choose to like, and I will not like what I don't want to like. It doesn't matter what it is, whether for Sonic or for whatever else. If there is a brand that brings me joy, then I will interact with that brand, irrespective of whatever anyone else may think. I don't know why you want us to be miserable, I guess, but I don't go along with that line of thinking. But back to the whole Sonic is only for kids thing, because I want to ask you, assuming that you genuinely believe this to be a fact, what kind of character do you think Sonic is exactly? Like, do you think he's a character taken straight out of, I don't know, Barney, Sesame Street, Coco Melon, or any other shows similar to those three? Because if so, then boy do I have some excellent counterpoints for you. Exhibit A, Perfect Dark Gaia from Sonic Unleashed. Exhibit B, Shadow the Hedgehog. Exhibit C, Professor Gerald and the Bio Lizard in Sonic Adventure 2. And Exhibit D, Infinite, where he's having one of his moments where he goes all, "I'm going to kill you," or at the very least, implies it. Those don't seem like such kid-friendly moments, do they? Now, of course, that's not true of literally every scenario in a Sonic game, but I think you get where I'm going with this still. You get where I'm going with this. And just to make sure I'm crystal clear, because I don't want anybody misunderstanding me, even though I'm pretty sure I've clarified my stance like 100 times in this video already. But no, I am not trying to gatekeep kids from Sonic, nor am I trying to gatekeep adults. Again, he is for everyone. This shouldn't be too difficult to grasp. He's not specifically for an age category. So if you're a kid or an adult and you like Sonic, then you're a Sonic fan. And I'd be happy for you to consider yourself part of an enormous fan base that has an unending appreciation for what is truly an amazing franchise. Matter of fact, that's part of why I started this channel, because I'd like to make more people aware of the existence of Sonic, and at least as far as the games are concerned, because they are my entry point into the series and my strongest point, give you some idea of what to expect from them. You feel me? Of course, I am now trying to assemble the complete Sonic archive where it goes beyond just the games, and it's gonna take me a long time before that archive is ever finished, if it ever gets finished. But it's the effort that counts, right? But with YouTube actively trying to suppress any form of expression for Sonic-themed content, it's not looking good for us. I'm in the clear right now, but there's no telling when that will change. And I feel like there's a sort of price you have to pay just for being a Sonic fan, because while we're far from the only fandom to be dealing with anything like this, we just can't seem to get a break. We got people blatantly misunderstanding what the Sonic franchise is about. We've got people belittling people just for being Sonic fans. We've got people just beating dead horse into the ground like Sonic 06 and the Sonic Boom series. And I can already tell that the ugly Sonic design from Paramount, as we're calling it, will join that list soon. And speaking of the ugly Sonic design, it's apparently coming back in the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers reboot movie or whatever it is, and I am not thrilled. Been trying so hard to get that thing out of my memory, and it just doesn't want to go away. Between all of these things, we just can't get a break. Like, all I want to do is enjoy my favorite blue cartoon rat that has a razor-sharp attitude, a smart mouth, an iconic design, an amazing assortment of games, and inspiring storylines. Though in the case of the last two, it really depends on which game you're playing. And is that really so bad? Like, why do I have to pay some kind of price just to enjoy Sonic? Why? Like, why? Why does there always have to be a string or two attached whenever I want to do something Sonic related? Even so much as discuss Sonic, because sometimes you can come under fire for even that. Why? And you can give me a legitimate answer to this, I'd be very interested in hearing it. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't enjoy making videos like this. I'm sure you guys are picking up on a depressing or negative or angry or concerned vibe or something similar to any of those things from listening to this, and I totally get that. Those aren't the kinds of reactions that I want to stir in anybody who watches my content at all. To my credit though, this has been the only time where I've had to post a video like this, and hopefully it will stay that way, but if it doesn't and I have to make more videos like this, I'll usually have a very good reason for doing so, and I will make that reason clear when the video starts. That much you can be sure of. But I just couldn't stay silent on what's going on. It's depressing to see all of my fellow Sonic creators being put at risk of having their work on this platform permanently discontinued. And if that happens, then Sonic fans will have lost a major outlet with which to express their enthusiasm over the character. YouTube is a social media giant, so imagine if every piece of Sonic content on here just suddenly disappeared. The effects would be felt immediately. It's not like people would instantly forget about Sonic, and yes, there are other platforms where we could go to talk about all things Sonic, but those same policies that we're dealing with on YouTube right now, imagine if those same policies migrated over to those other platforms. Then what? What would we do? Would platform hopping be the answer then? Personally, I don't think so. So rather, what I think we need to do instead is the exact same thing that we did when Paramount first unveiled their initial design for Sonic before the first movie release, and that is to raise our voices and stand in solidarity with our fellow Sonic creators. I realize though that we're not dealing with a movie studio in this case, we're dealing with something completely different. And I also realized that this is going to be an uphill battle that we're fighting. I can't stress this enough. This is going to be an uphill battle. And we got to do all we can. That's all I can really say here. But we cannot just lay down and accept what's going on. I'd like to be allowed to continue making my Sonic content with some peace of mind without always having to worry about what could happen afterward. And I'd like all my fellow creators to have the same thing, you know? All I want to do is enjoy Sonic, all I want to do is make content about Sonic. That's not too much to ask for. And now those very things are being threatened by this made for kids policy, and I for one am sick and tired of it. And so to everybody watching this video, please, please, please support both Sonic creators and any non-Sonic creators that are also dealing with this issue. And trust me, there are. Again, my own channel is in the clear as none of my content has been flagged. Hopefully it stays that way. But I'd have to be foolish to not prepare for the worst. So, later on I may have to look into other options that could be feasible if ever it comes to that. I'm sure not hoping it does though. So until then, I'm gonna keep working on my channel, I'm gonna keep creating videos, and hopefully good things keep happening with this channel. Although I'd sure like to see this same good fortune extended over to other Sonic channels and non-Sonic channels too. Because we all could use it right now, definitely. But yeah guys, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for hearing me out. I hope I've been able to do my part in making everybody aware of what's going on. And I hope you all stand together in the face of this mess that's unfolding right now. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and especially for the rapid growth that this channel has been seeing recently. I'm actually starting to think we'll hit 2,000 subscribers pretty quick. Well, that would be characteristic of a Sonic fan, because gotta go fast, right? Nah, but seriously, I owe you guys so much for your support. Thank you. Let's keep it going. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to drop that like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I'll see you all next time. Take care, and don't forget, blue blurs for life. See y'all later.